first off, welcome everybody to this episode of the Market Insider Series. If you've joined us for the first time this episode, we're excited to have you on here. Every episode, we travel the country to talk, to look at a lot of the different destinations that we see Bay Area residents moving to. So a lot of great popular destinations. Today, we are doing that. We are heading east to the desert. We're going to the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm joined with Faith Armour. Hi, Faith. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. So Faith is with Urban Nest Realty. She's a real estate broker there, and we're going to be talking a lot about what's happening in Las Vegas as far as housing, as far as employment, industry, all kinds of great things. And so Faith, we're going to dispel the rumor that all there is in Las Vegas is, you know, gambling and hotels and casinos and things like that. There is more, right?
Oh yeah, and what happens in Las Vegas does not only stay in Las Vegas.
Okay, perfect. Well, we're going to cover the stuff that, you know, everybody wants to hear about. We're going to keep it all outside of Las Vegas and everywhere else. So Faith, why don't you give us kind of your background in Las Vegas and, you know, how you've gotten up to this point in your career?
Sure. I have lived in Las Vegas for 23 years as of December, so about 23 and a half years. I've been a licensed real estate agent here in Las Vegas for all of those 23 years. I got my license about 6 months after we moved here. I raised our kids here. About 5 years ago, I started a team. So I do have an all-women team. There's 5 of us, me, 3 buyer's agents, and our full-time licensed assistant. And we love Las Vegas. It's a really awesome place to live. Once people leave the Strip and come out into our neighborhoods and the real Las Vegas, everybody falls in love with it as well. It's not what a lot of people think. They always say that, you know, wow, I had no idea all this was here. It's awesome.
That's it. If they don't leave the Strip, they don't realize that there is so much to do in Las Vegas. We're going to talk about a little bit about that. So I'm excited to get into a lot of that. Also, for people who, if you're watching this live, we have the opportunity. There's a Q&A button. You can hit that button and ask questions live. We'll answer those for you live. And then also there's a chat button you can do for the same things. We'd love to keep this interactive. We're going to try to cover everything, but if there's something that we haven't covered that you're just dying to know about, we will get it answered for you. Okay, Faith, so I think the first thing that most people are interested in learning about is what are some of the more popular areas in Las Vegas that you're seeing like higher growth in, and what does it cost to buy a house there? So take us through that.
Sure thing. Actually, surprisingly, the fastest growing city in the Las Vegas Valley is North Las Vegas. So in what we call the Las Vegas Valley, there's North Las Vegas, and Henderson. Summerlin, which is in Las Vegas, and Henderson tend to be the first areas people hear about. They're a little bit more affluent, better schools, newer things going on there. But
where some of these areas are located at in proximity to maybe the downtown area or the Strip?
Sure. So North Las Vegas, let me zoom in here a little bit. Well, this is the entire Las Vegas Valley. So down here is Henderson. Over here is what we call Sunrise Mountain, the east side of town. Up into here, all this is North Las Vegas. Over here is what we just pretty much call the Northwest area. And then you move down here, and this is Summerlin, Summerlin West, Summerlin South goes down to here. Spring Valley is a little bit older area, all part of Las Vegas. And then we refer to this as the Southwest. There's a big master plan community down here called Mountain's Edge. So that's a pretty large area as well. And then down in here, we've got the really nice parts of Henderson, a big area master plan community called Anthem. Oh, I'm sorry, Scott, I can't hear you again. I still can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, so like I was saying, North Las Vegas has been the fastest growing actually city in the Las Vegas Valley for the last couple years, mostly because it's the most affordable. So over here, you can get a lot more bang for your buck. Same thing over here in the Northwest. So sometimes we get people who start off wanting to look in Summerlin or Henderson area, and they're a little disappointed with the size home they can get, you know, what kind of home they can get in those areas for the price. If that's the case, then we start taking like our Summerlin people and going up here into the Northwest because it's still nice. This is our Beltway area, which is really, really nice. A lot less traffic. It's newer within the last 10 or 15 years. It's been developed. And it's a really easy way to get around the town. And you can get all the way down here to the airport as well.
So I believe that my mic is cutting out. Makes a difference. Okay.
Oh, now I can hear you. Great.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, much better.
Oh. Let's try one more thing here.
Yay, I can hear you.
Okay. I might try to plug in here on a headset because I've been told that. Okay. Can you
All right, now we got a radio announcer going on. This looks good.
All right. So I apologize to everybody. It looks like this is working fine, I hope.
Yes.
Okay, so that's fantastic. So my question earlier was, show us on the map where the strip is in proximity to some of these areas that you outlined here.
Sure. So here's the strip right here. This is Las Vegas Boulevard coming down here. And so a lot of people, like we get a lot of people from California that want to move, that are moving here always,
Okay.
more intently this last couple years. So a lot of people coming from Southern California that still want to go back and forth, like say every month or whatever. A lot of times they do like this Henderson area because it's closer to the 15 freeway to get down here to California. But sometimes, you know, again, affordability or whatever, they all have very different vibes. So when we have a client coming in that's never looked at homes here and they aren't sure what area they want to be in, we strongly encourage them to drive these areas and they will come back. I promise. They always come back and say, wow, like this, don't like this, don't like this, don't like this. You just have to drive through in about 30 minutes and you have a vibe for each area, very different.
Absolutely. You've got to get your feet on the ground, right, to be able to visually see everything. So what we're going to go through today is a great overview. But if you're serious about really learning about it and what the best area might be, it's really to go out and meet with you guys. So take us into some prop. I think you got some property examples that you can pull up in some of these different areas of, you know, what homes cost. I
do. So I thought I would start off in North Las Vegas to give you an idea of what you can get in North Las Vegas. And these would be in the $250,000 to $300,000 price point. This particular home is, hang on a second, listed at $275,000. It is 2147 square feet on a 3,900 square foot lot, and it's built in 2009. So as I mentioned, you can get quite a bit of home in North Las Vegas for this price point.
About how far out, Faith, is that from the strip or from the downtown area?
Let's see, this is right off the 215. So if you hopped on the 215 and went around to like the airport or to get to the strip, you'd probably be about 30 minutes away. If you hit traffic, maybe 45 at the most. But a lot of people really feel like it's worth it, especially people coming from Southern California because they're used to a lot heavier traffic than that. Yeah. So when we're like, oh my God, it takes 30 minutes to get there, they're like, that's cake. What are you whining about?
Yeah, the owners of this property made some interesting color choices.
Yes, I have some fantastic painters here, by the way. So,
so this gives you kind of an idea. You can change the paint around, you know, customize it to yourself, but it gives you a kind of idea of what you can get. You said for $275, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
And the next price point that I did is in the $400,000 to $500,000 range in North Las Vegas. And in this price point, you can get you a pool if you like.
which out there you're going to want to pull. It gets
Yeah.
pretty hot. Yeah.
Yes, very much. Kind of a cooler summer this year so far, so it's
Yeah.
not been too bad. But this one is a large home. It's 3,790 square feet with a 3-car garage. And it was built, oh, let me move this. It was built in 2006.
Okay. And that's 5 bedrooms. Wow. Yeah, that's big. Almost 4,000 square feet.
Yeah, a lot more neutral colors. You've got your plantation shutters,
Nice.
big kitchen. And this is 215 in Aliante. So Aliante is what we call a mini Summerlin. It is developed by Del Webb, a master plan community with its own hotel casino. So there's Aliante Station, and then there's Red Rock Station in Summerlin. So when you live here, you watch things going on in the Strip on TV, just like you do. We rarely go to the Strip because we have our own local casinos. And they have theaters, concerts, pretty much anything that you want to do is in our local casinos.
And is it true, to go off topic for a minute, Faith, is it true that when you live there, you're purposely trying to stay away from
Yes.
the Strip area, right? Yeah, there's the locals only, what the locals know about, and they probably want to keep that separate.
For sure. Yeah, there's a lot. We're getting more and more really nice restaurants. We kind of follow suit with Southern California with, you know, the more like people who are vegetarian or they want that more whole foods kind of thing. We're getting a lot more of those kinds of restaurants here, which I love. It's really awesome. So.
Perfect. Okay. And give us another example of what you can get in some of these areas.
Okay, so the next one is Henderson, and you'll see quite a difference. So again, this one is, let me move that picture right, listed at 289. It's 1,800 square feet, built in 2008 with 4 bedrooms. And this one is in Henderson. So you kind of get the shortened driveway, but still nice inside, some space. You'll just be on like smaller lots and a little bit smaller homes. But some people think that's worth it for the location. You have your better schools, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And a lot of people, I mean, especially people who are, you know, retiring at retirement age, they probably want a smaller lot because maybe they don't want as much maintenance and upkeep, right? So it's like,
oh, for sure.
You want the inside dialed in, but the less to take care of outside might be better, especially in the summertime.
Yeah, and we do have a lot of easy care desert landscaping that still looks really good. Lots of greenery. Like at my house, I did a lot of hardscaping with a really nice paved stone walkway and stairs. And then you do like, you know, really pretty purple lantanas and shrubs and stuff around. So it doesn't look like just a rock front yard.
Got it.
Nevada has done really, really well with water conservation over the last 20 years. So we actually don't have as many restrictions as like say Southern California does, or as big of a threat for that issue.
Okay.
And then in Henderson, I did this one. It was it's listed at 450, 3,100 square feet, 3-car garage. It does have a pool and a spa, 5 bedrooms plus a den and a loft. Still a lot of house for Henderson at this price point. They made some interesting choices too with the brick on the wall and all that. But it looks nice.
Spending too much time at the Strip. with new ideas for decorating the house.
Yeah, so this one's got some manufactured wood floors. And the good thing is there's more choices for buyers right now. We have a more balanced market right now. For the longest time, we were in this crazy seller's market. And it was really frustrating for buyers because you'd have to make offers on 10 different houses and you kept getting beat out. And now you can actually go look at a home and for the most part, pick out what you want and get an offer accepted. That's a pretty pool.
Yeah, that's nice. Good landscaping on that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the overhangs on the.
I was gonna say a home inspector would have a heart attack on that one.
Yeah, I think
we have tile roofs here, so yeah, that's not a good idea.
Okay, Faith, we've got a quick question here. regarding utilities, I understand it might be hard to generalize, but say for a 3-bedroom home, 2,000 square feet, how much would electricity average per month? And the same thing with what would your water bill be, assuming that there's no pool?
Well, for the electric bill, it will depend on the year built and whether or not it's a 1 or 2 story. But the newer it is, we have all these energy efficient homes. I have people, clients that live in a home built in, say, 2010 or newer, and they could be in a 3,000 square foot 2-story, and even in the summertime, their electric bill is only around $200.
And that's not with solar, right?
No, that's not with solar.
Yeah, okay.
And a 1-story is gonna be a little bit less in the winter, maybe $50, $75 for electric. So it's mostly that air conditioner that's going to draw.
Yeah.
Water is surprisingly not that expensive. If you don't have a pool and you've got this kind of desert landscaping on drip and not really any grass, or people like the synthetic grass, you're going to be $50 or less a month for water.
Yeah, and my guess is, it's interesting because with Las Vegas being in the desert, and we've had the same conversation live with our partners in Phoenix about what the water bill is, it's actually cheaper there than it is in California.
Yeah.
And, and for less usage out there, or more usage out there as well. And so it's interesting that you would expect that it's going to be a lot more because you're in the desert, but that's not the case.
Well, again, for the last 20 years, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has done a fantastic job. So they haven't forced us to do anything like forced taking out grass. What they've done is incentives. So they start off at $1.50 a square foot, and now I believe they're up to $3 a square foot credit. So if you voluntarily want to take out your grass, they come measure it and all that kind of stuff. And in the end, they'll give you $3 a square foot credit or money back, an actual check to take out your grass. But they want you to replace it with what they call a greenscape. Takes a lot less water, but still you've got, greenery, and you have to have so many.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great incentive. Okay, awesome. And you've got a couple other property examples to show?
I do. So these are in Summerlin. So again, you'll see a drastic difference. This one is 300,000. Very hard to find a house in Summerlin under 300,000, but I found one. Okay. It's a 2-story, 1,650 square feet. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and a 2-car garage. And this is listed right at 300,000. So this gives you an idea of what you're going to get for 300,000. So as you can tell, like in North Las Vegas, this would be probably more around 250 price point.
Okay.
So just because it's in Summerlin, the price point goes up. So a much smaller backyard, smaller lots.
Mm-hmm. But very reasonable for 300,000. Seems to be very reasonable
compared to a lot of other areas. We are still very affordable.
Yeah. Okay.
And then with interest rates being so low, it's super cool. This one is also in Summerlin, so I picked a little higher price point. It's 500,000, 3,200 square feet with a 3-car garage, built in 1995. It's 3 bedrooms and a den. And we have some beautiful sunsets here.
That's a great picture. Wow.
Yeah, and obviously this is on either an arroyo or a golf course lot. So a lot of times, we'll have homes about golf courses, but also they like to leave natural desert land, called an arroyo, in the background if it's a big, thing that they didn't want to fill in. This is what I'm talking about with the hardscaping. So still it's lush and green, but you don't have to have grass to make it look really nice.
They did a great job with that.
Yeah, the hardscaping takes up a lot of space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a really pretty house. Decorated a little more traditionally, obviously. But good sized kitchens. And again, this is where your better schools are. You've got the best shopping in Summerlin and Henderson. We have shopping everywhere. No matter where you live, you have your own little pocket. Okay. But this is where, like, I go to Summerlin. I live in the Northwest, but my office is in Summerlin. So I'm there all the time. And I get to enjoy these amenities. Like downtown Summerlin It's where the new baseball field is. Lots of
And
cool.
that's just such a high growth area, right? I mean, and what we'll get into, somebody asked about, can you talk about retirement communities? And I think you've got a couple of examples of that
I do.
within Summerlin. Yeah, tell us a little bit more about that.
So we have several age-restricted communities. This is in Sun City, Summerlin, which is developed by Del Webb. Sun City, Summerlin has about 7,800 homes in that one community. This particular one is listed at 450. It's 2,400 square feet. All of them are single story, 3-car garage, 2 bedrooms, and a den. But for the most part, all the Del Webb or Sun City, so there's Sun City Summerlin, Sun City Aliante, Sun City Anthem, and they have Sun Cities in Arizona as well. But their whole concept is no walls in the backyard. So unless you are backing, the end of the community or something like that, I'll show you here, you're going to have more of an open space kind of thing. So
that's interesting. Okay. What
yeah,
do you do if you have pets like dogs?
Well, see, actually, this is the end of the community, so you actually have this block wall, but a lot of them don't have that. There's no wall. It opens to your neighbors being in the back. They do allow for small, kind of like not cyclone fencing, but like a low wall fencing with approval from the HOA.
Okay, got it. So there's an option to put that in, but it wouldn't be your standard large wood fence.
No, and yeah. In fact, all of our walls here, for the most part, are all block backyard walls, or the vinyl fencing.
Okay.
Because wood just doesn't last in the sun.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay.
Another age-restricted community that's very popular, I just closed one there, is Sienna. Now, Sienna, it's open like Sun City is, but this one happens to be guard gated. So a lot of people like that feeling of security, especially if you travel a lot. A lot of people want to have a guard gated community while their home is empty, that kind of. So homes in Sienna sell a lot quicker, a little higher price point. Their clubhouse is gorgeous. This is the indoor pool there. And then they have like a restaurant there. They have really beautiful amenities in Sienna.
Yeah, I was reading in the notes here: indoor pool, fitness center, outdoor pool, recreation, guard gate, exercise room. So, and they really dial those, 55 plus communities in, right? I mean,
oh my gosh.
Go there, and there's not many reasons to leave except maybe go to the grocery store, maybe some outside entertainment. But they really do a good job of keeping you in there and keeping you active.
They sure do, and they've got all kinds of clubs. I mean, Sun City Aliante's got a really great pottery room with film and the whole bit, and others will have like quilting or swim clubs or cribbage or whatever you want to do, whatever sparks your interest.
Would you mind pulling back up your map? I have another question here, and it might be easier to address this using the map. So Michael asked, my wife and I are retired, moving from the Bay Area, looking for a 1-story, approximately 2,000 square feet with a budget of around 400,000. Where would they start looking? At a budget of 400,000, let's assume that he means a retirement community. What would be a good area for them to start at?
Well, in that price point, you should be able to find wherever you want. Depends on how new you want and that kind of thing. So down here in this area is Sun City Anthem, and you should still be able to find a 2,000 square foot home for around that $400,000 mark. You do have some nice views down here on some homes.
Okay.
And then if you go back up over here, this is Sun City Summerlin. Now, Sun City Summerlin was one of the first 55 plus communities that were built. So it's older, so a lot of the homes are dated. So you may need some interior remodeling.
Okay.
You want something more modern if you're going to go here. Up in here is you move into North Las Vegas, and up in here is Sun City Aliante. You definitely get a lot more for your money, and you could get a nice home in that 2,000 square foot price point right in
Excellent.
Cincinnati.
So it sounds like there's a lot of options, right? And different areas.
There is, and we have some brand new communities too. There's Regency, but those, I believe those start at 400,000 for brand new, gated, age restricted.
Are just out of curiosity, are the builders who are doing new construction, are they including solar, or are there any requirements for solar?
No, shockingly, no, not really. In fact, homes with solar here are actually harder to sell. People are
Really?
still, yeah, because the solar came and then it went, and now it's making a comeback. And
Okay.
people are afraid of it because it depends on what the previous owner got into. So I'm, as primarily a listing agent, I run into this a lot with my sellers. You can either pay for it outright, you can lease it, or you can get a loan on it.
Yeah.
And I think some of the hardest ones, the biggest mistakes, is the loans. Those are tough to resell to a new buyer to take over.
Yeah, I think a lot of times we run across the same thing. There's a lot of uncertainty for the buyer. How does the loan work? I mean, and there's so many different ways those contracts are structured, but the buyer has to assume that loan, and then you're reading through and you're qualifying to assume the loan. So yeah, there's a lot of
and it depends on who you get it through. Like, obviously people feel more comfortable with Tesla than some of the other ones because it's a bigger name.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Okay, so we've gone through some of the housing, we've gone through some of the 55 plus communities. I think we could probably close your screen on there.
Okay.
Let's talk a little bit about healthcare, because obviously a lot of people who are moving into the Las Vegas area are looking for retirement. And a big concern is, what is my proximity to healthcare service providers or major hospitals or things like that? So any information you can give us on that?
Well, we have hospitals everywhere. I mean, and what we don't have, we're building another one. So I lose track sometimes. I'll be driving somewhere and be like, oh my God, there's another hospital. Healthcare, I think it's the same here as anywhere. It's all in, who you find to fit your needs.
Okay.
Again, we're right next to Southern California. So we have a lot of Southern California doctors coming here. We do have a shortage of doctors, so we're trying to attract more and more. And then we have, a couple years ago, they built the Brain Institute, which is pretty world renowned now. It's pretty interesting to look at too. If I could find it, I'd show you.
You said it was the Brain Institute?
The Brain Institute, yeah.
Okay.
The Cleveland Clinic, actually.
Oh, sure, okay.
Lou Rubo Center for Brain Health. And it's a very interesting looking building. So if you come to Las Vegas, you should definitely drive by and check it out.
That's something to put on the bucket list. Check out the
Brain. It actually is.
The Brain building. Okay.
Yeah, it's actually near, closer to Fremont Street area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Going back, one question I forgot to ask. So going back to the housing market, and you alluded to this, that you're seeing a slowdown right now. We're seeing that in the Bay Area. And from everybody that I'm talking to, we're seeing it almost nationwide, with a few exceptions. But what would you say is the average days on market for a typical home?
I'm still selling my listings within 30 days. 1 week to 4 weeks is what I'm still seeing in the average price point home that I'm selling. If you get a listing that, like, say, I need some cleaning up, and the sellers didn't want to freshen it up and paint it, so they're no longer able to put just anything on the market and have it sell with multiple offers. You got to clean it up, paint it, freshen it up, price it right, and then the agent's got to have good pictures. If you're missing any of those things, you're going to sit on the market, and then you're going to see homes sitting on the market 60, 120 days for those kinds of homes. Vegas has always been really price sensitive. My whole 23 years working here, if you overprice by $5,000, you'll sit. And sellers will say, well, I want somebody to make me an offer. I'm like, I don't know. They just don't. So just price it right.
Well, I mean, it seems like there's a lot of homes that are very similar, maybe like, a tract style build. So you might be priced 5,000 over, but there's 3 or 4 other options that are priced correctly.
Absolutely.
And when you don't have a lot of distinguishing factors for your home, because there's so many that are very similar, it boils down to, competition.
For sure.
So if I was to come out there and say, Faith, let's go shopping, I want to look at some houses. if I put in an offer on a reasonably priced house, am I going to expect to have competition or multiple offers, or is that kind of, you know, so 2 years ago?
For the most part, it's actually so 8 months ago. So this,
8 months ago.
yeah,
Okay.
this just started shifting about 8 months ago. Prior to that, yeah, you would expect multiple offers, but now, no, if you're competing with another offer, it'd be maybe one or two, and it'd have to be something really unique, like a really big lot, had RV parking and a pool and all that.
Okay, perfect. Hank just read my mind. His question is, does Faith have any insight on the area regarding company growth and the job market? And that was the next section that I was going to get into. So talk a little bit about some of the dominant industries, job growth, and then maybe some of the major employers in the area.
Yeah, we are actually #1 in job growth again, have been for, I believe, this last year.
Is that across all industries or maybe a specific industry?
I, I, I think just the volume of jobs that we're creating here, it's
Okay.
for volume. Right now, like my oldest son is in the electrician's apprenticeship program, and he's working on a big Google building. So right now,
is that right?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay, that's exciting.
yeah. So we're here, a lot of corporations moving here. We're just so business friendly, and the taxes are so much lower. It's so much easier to have a business here that more and more are coming all the time. Out at Apex on the east side, it's been kind of touch and go, but there's been some really big companies that have been coming in over there.
And so Las Vegas is obviously really big in the customer service industries, supporting, you know, the casinos and entertainment. And then also, as you mentioned, healthcare is really big because we have a lot of seniors who are, you know, moving into the area for retirement. Are there any other dominant industries, or I should say growing industries, that you're seeing that are making a lot of traction with new build, hiring, things like that?
I don't have anything specific. There's a lot, there's so many going on. Let's see, we had Amazon and Amazon warehouse over here on the east side, along with, who's the other one? Fanatics. Fanatics was moving in here. They're like a workout wear, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then on the strip, oh my gosh, I'd have to like email you a whole list of all that's going on. They're getting ready to build a big dome for music. You know, after the tragic shooting and all that, they wanted to have somewhere where it was like you were outside, but it literally looks like a well, I'm missing the word.
Like a dome.
Globe. It's like a big globe.
Oh, a globe.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's going to look like a globe on the outside. So it's going to be temperature controlled, and it can hold, I don't know, 500,000 or more people. And it's all going to be for music. And then they'll have the sound better, and it's safe and all of that. So there's those going on. A lot of the hotel casinos are switching over. They found that only about 7% of people come here to gamble now. So,
is that right? Wow.
Yes, a lot of the casinos are shifting, taking out gambling areas and adding in things like man-made beaches and surfing experiences and things like that. So,
which makes a lot of sense. I mean, you've got tens of thousands of slot machines and ways to gamble there.
yeah,
But you really have to kind of start setting yourself apart. And I know that a lot of those hotels are doing some really clever, cool new concepts to be able to get people in.
oh yeah, they're doing some crazy cool stuff. And then the other industry that's kind of growing is the high rises on the strip. So that's kind of come and gone. But some of the older areas where they have the high rises, they're refurbishing those and making them newer. And people are really liking that because they can walk. It's like, you know, other countries where you can live in one spot, walk down, you don't have to have a car. So that's really growing in popularity here right now.
Let me ask you this, Faith. So let's say that if I'm a working family and I have children, what areas might I focus on?
Summerlin is usually the #1 pick for a growing family. It's just got some over 150 miles of walking trails, over 240 parks, all kinds of, ice cream socials, that kind of thing, community and family stuff going on all the time. And then the second area usually is Henderson, because they have a lot of the same things and the better schools for both of them. Now, that's public schools, but charter schools are huge here. My grandson is in a charter school, and he does do a lot better in the charter school than in the public school. So.
And so, yeah, so it sounds like there's, some areas where you're going to have, the higher ranked schools. Let's call it, 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. And then some other areas where it might be a little bit more affordable. The public schools may not be as good, but you have private and you have charter school options.
You do. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And even in the nicer areas, some people opt for the charter schools.
Okay. I have a question. I have 2 questions I want to get through, and then I want to talk about taxes.
Okay.
So Michael asks, I'm a semi-retired working part-time in the limousine business as a driver for the last 7 years and love it. That's awesome, Michael. I'd like to continue in that business in Las Vegas. Can you speak to that industry?
Yes, it actually is a very popular industry here. Limousine service is huge. So you do not have a problem working in that industry here again.
Is there, I mean, I would imagine that the whole Uber Lyft model is not competing with the limousine.
No, that's a whole different
demographic.
Yeah, that's completely different. I mean, Uber is more for like, oh, I need a ride to the airport, or I had too many drinks, take me home. Whereas a limousine is, you're making a statement. I did a big limousine bus for one of my buyer's agents' 50th birthday 2 years ago. And it was so much fun. So yeah, those are really fun. They're like party buses,
Those are memorable, especially like you said, when you get the big buses, you can stand in and walk around.
And you can't do that in an Uber.
No, you can't. Well, you shouldn't try.
No.
Okay, so Hank asks, could Faith comment on the air quality in the Vegas area?
Yeah, air quality, like I'm looking right now at my my camera is outside and the sky is nice and blue. But sometimes when you go up to a higher elevation and you're looking down over the valley, you can see a bit of a haze. We do get quite a few winds through here, which is actually a really good thing because that wind blows that haze out. You do suffer, some people do suffer with allergies here, just because we do sit in a valley. So we're going to have some settling of, dust and stuff like that. I don't ever recall having a time where we had like those crazy sandstorms like Phoenix can get. Like one time I saw at the airport where like the sand like destroyed the airport. So I've never seen anything here like that before. So it's
let's talk a little bit more about that, because there's 2 things I want to cover. I want to cover more of the climate, and then also we've got to cover taxes, and we've got just a few minutes here. But tell us about, I know that you guys have had a pretty mild summertime. We have as well. Very, very mild. And but tell us what you could typically expect, lows, highs, in the wintertime, summertime, and then just, rainfall, what you could expect.
On average. So in the summertime, I've seen it as hot as 115 or 118. But you got to keep in mind that our humidity is very, very low. Yeah. So while that's hot, it feels like a blow dryer blowing on you. That's not the humidity. So you don't like get out of the shower and feel like you're going to take another shower kind of thing. Like I hear people say in high humidity areas.
I won't have to redo my hair, right?
No. The hair does good. It's a good hair city. And then in the winter, a lot of people don't realize how cold it gets here. We do freeze sometimes. So I had a water fountain in my old house, and I have pictures of ice cubes hanging from it. So it can get down into the high 20s, as low as like 28. Sometimes in the 30s. Last year, we had snow several times, which is not normal. We'll have snow maybe once or twice, but it melts really fast and goes away. Summerlin is higher altitude, and it's about 10 to 12 degrees cooler than the whole rest of the valley. So in Summerlin, you will get a little bit more snow, and it will stay a little longer than the rest of the city.
So Summerlin is about 10 degrees cooler. Okay. Yes. Did not know that. That's awesome. What's the rainy season? Like what months do you expect rain? Is it in the spring, summer, or is it the winter?
Well, of course, generally we don't get that much rain. This year we got a lot more than normal, but our monsoon season would be, our flash floods would
Yeah.
be August.
Okay, so that's coming up.
Yes.
So if people want to get a real taste of Las Vegas, book a trip to visit with you guys in August, and then you'll see what it's really like. It's going to be hot. You're going to get some flash floods.
Yeah, and
It's
then
the real
some
deal.
possible flash floods. Yeah.
Possible flash floods. Well, you got
There's
to
a
keep
lot
it
of,
exciting, right?
yeah, and they put in a lot of drains and stuff like that over this last 20 years, flood channels to handle the water, because our earth just gets almost like cement. So when the rain hits it, it doesn't soak in very much. It just rolls over.
Okay, awesome. I'd love to talk about this more because I find that the climate very intriguing, but I do want to get into taxes.
Okay.
Coming
None.
from what's that?
None. We have none.
None. Well, you have some, but I'm going to say it's safe to assume you have more than we do. Okay, state income tax rate.
0.
You
don't have to file or anything. Nothing.
So we talked about this, I think it was a few days ago. The state income tax rate in Nevada is 0, right? Which a lot of people are choosing Las Vegas, Reno, some different areas because there can be a lot of tax advantages from that angle. Property tax rate, as you said, about 0.77%.
Yes.
Okay.
Very low.
That's very, very low. We're at starting at about 1.25% here, and it can go up a little bit. Normally, in states that have no state income tax, you're going to have property taxes at 2 3/4 up to 3.5 to make up for that, because obviously the money for services, right, social services, have to come from somewhere. So if you have 0% income tax rate, you've got about a 0.77% property tax rate. Where is the money coming from?
Casinos.
Gambling. So all the people that are coming in and visiting the Strip and putting their money into the slots and everything else.
Thank you very much.
They're paying a lot of, a lot of these services, a lot of these costs for the residents.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. And what's a gallon of gas costing you right now? An average?
It's about roughly $3.
Okay, so you're about $3, and right now I think we're hovering maybe 4.25, somewhere around there. So we're a little bit higher. Not that anybody who's listening needs a reminder, but the California state income tax rate is up to about 12.3% at the highest tier, which is the highest in the county. Property tax rate, as I mentioned, is 1.25%. Our sales tax is about 8.25%. Obviously depending on adjustments on the county. What's your sales tax rate? Do you have any idea?
8.75, I think it is. Well, it ranges depending on the county. 6.85 to 8.265.
So we'll call it roughly the same on that.
Yeah.
But obviously there can be some, and here's the thing is, Faith, we always recommend if somebody's considering making a move, whether it's to Las Vegas or whether it's somewhere else, always talk to your CPA, talk to your financial planner, wealth manager, and find out how does that impact your whole financial picture, right? Because we don't want to be telling people, oh, it's great and this and that, but obviously it's a very individualized scenario. I think we covered everything. Just real quick, besides the casino, what are some cool things to do out there? If I'm coming out there and I don't want to gamble, what am I doing?
Okay, so we have Lake Mead if you want to go water skiing or boating.
Okay.
We have Mount Charleston, which is I live in the Northwest, so it's about 30 minutes away up in the mountains, and you would never know you're even near Las Vegas, so you can snow ski there, you can go camping in the summer, and it's about 20 degrees cooler. So it's all pine trees, and there's people that live there as well. Mm-hmm. And then right by where I live is Floyd Lamb State Park, which is really nice. There's 3 small lakes there, and you can go fishing and that kind of thing there. There is Red Rock State Park, which is west of Summerlin, and that's just beautiful. You wouldn't want to go this time of year because it's too hot. But the Red Rock Mountains are beautiful, and you can go hiking there. People go there for taking pictures because it's so beautiful. There's Bonnie Springs out there, which is a little western town. But the sad thing is they're just shutting that down because they're going to build houses in that area.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah, and it's been there for so long. It's super cool. And then the other thing that's really neat is that you can be to southern, if you want to be at the beach, you can be there in 3.5 to 5 hours from here.
What beach would that be? Los Angeles?
Yeah, just go straight over to Southern California. There's multiple beaches. We do it all the time because I know when people come here from California, they're like, so what do Las Vegans do when they want a vacation? It's like, go to California.
Well, I mean, the proximity is great because like you mentioned, I mean, I didn't realize that it was 3-4 hours.
Yeah. It's we do that all the time. We'll go to Pacific Edge and Laguna Beach or whatever, and in 4.5 hours, we're right there at a hotel on the beach. So it's really easy. And then of course, we got all these sports teams now, so you can go see.
The Raiders are coming.
Yeah, the Raiders. That building is coming along really quickly.
Like,
and our baseball, the whole baseball stadium in Summerlin, that's really cool. And the hockey. The hockey is a blast. At the T-Mobile Center, I've been to one of those games. That is fun.
Well, and okay, so we've really debunked the myth that all there is to do in Vegas is gamble. I mean, like you said, there's things to do and to escape the heat in the summertime. You can get up into the mountains, the pine trees, the higher elevation, you can get to the beach, and in the wintertime, all kinds of different things to do. So this has been great, Faith. It's been a great introduction. And if somebody wants to come out and pay a visit to you guys, your team, and maybe go around and just look at some areas and be a resource, can they do that? Can we put them in contact with you?
Absolutely. We usually start off with even like a buyer consultation. So we can meet the offer at the office, and then we can go over anything that they want to, and then go out and check out a few homes so they can see what they look like inside.
Excellent. Okay, that's great. All right. Well, Faith, thank you so much. This has been wonderful to learn more about Las Vegas, and I look forward to keeping in touch, and maybe we'll do this, in 6 months or so and just kind of see what's going on in the market out there. Also want to thank those who have joined us today, and any questions that we can answer for you, it is info@leavingthebayarea.com. Faith, thanks again.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, we'll be in touch. Take care. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Okay.